the number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher.
But don't worry, have faith, my people. Hey, Christmas is here once a year. Ready or not, it is here to put a smile on your face and be of good cheer. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So even though we have coronavirus, you can still have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Just remember to put Jehovah first. You can still have a Merry, Merry Christmas. This land is blessed, we are not cursed. So you can still have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Jah will never leave us to hunger or thirst. No, you can still have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Sing, sing, sing.
Get your PCR test in 30 minutes or less. Visit www.allprolab.com.
Grenada's newest political sensation, Dickon Mitchell, will be officially introduced to the diaspora virtually on December the 5th. Don't miss this special event to hear Dickon Mitchell's plans for involving all Grenadians overseas in the development of our country. Your ideas and suggestions for a better Grenada will also be welcomed in a question and answer session. It's Sunday, December the 5th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Grenada time. It'll be streaming live on NDC Facebook page, Zoom, and other social media platforms. You'll also get a chance to donate to help Dickon Mitchell do the groundwork towards building a better Grenada. This event is organized by the New York chapter of the National Democratic Congress and Grenadians for Dickon Mitchell in the diaspora. Don't you dare miss it.
Yes. Test 1 2. How you guys? Welcome. I just realized that as I started the program and I had my music all queued up, it just didn't. There we go. Yeah. What's up, one and all? Welcome to Ridealong Live for today. It's Monday. Yeah, man. How you guys doing? Lacey Jeff. Change up she name and also all kind of thing. Welcome to the ride. Welcome to the folks that's watching. Listen, I stayed away from Facebook for the weekend, right? I purposely did because, man, it was so much stuff happening. And I came back on, like, all they mash up the place. I left for 2 days. I come back, all they have new variant. All kind of craziness happening. What going on? I can't leave this place for a good 2 days. All kind of mess happen in 2 days. Eh? Let's see how you doing. Ian Baker, how you doing over on YouTube? Welcome to the ride, guys. I am happy to be back, although it was a short vacation. Yeah. Hey, Ian Baker over there on YouTube. Big up yourself. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, guys. Thank you for being a part of the ride. Now, let me tell you guys that if you are watching us on Facebook right now, you could also check us out and subscribe to us. We have a huge community, 75,000 subscribers over there on YouTube. You could check that out as well. So Facebook, YouTube, if you're watching us on riderslive.com, if you're listening to us in Brooklyn, New York on 107.9. How you guys doing in Brooklyn, New York? Listeners on J Wonder. Good evening to you. Big up yourself. Hey, June, how you doing? June Noel Park, how you doing? Nice. I'll just see I start 5 minutes earlier today because today we have an interesting program lined up for you guys, right? I don't know if you guys been paying attention to what's happening over the weekend. Well, last weekend, Friday into this weekend, there has been a lot of chatter in regards to a particular artiste, right? Her name is Temptress. She's a Grenadian artist. She's been making a lot of waves in Grenada. You guys remember back in Kentucky. Now, a few years ago, she did this track entitled Doh Have, right? Now, the controversy involved in that track is a management royalties dispute. We have the management, the new management. We have Temptress on, and we have let me get his title right. I don't want to mix up this. He is Fabian Alfonso. He's a musical business copyright and related right specialist. So this is an important program for people who are trying to break into the music, for artists who are in the music right now of music, but they don't understand the business aspect of it. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about what is the controversy, what is all this chatter about Temptress and her music. So guys, a very important and interesting program. So as you come in, guys, share the program once, share the program twice, share it up. In fact, listen, share the program 3 times, please. Share the program 3 times. Please go ahead, do the thing. Share the thing, share the thing, share the thing. And while you're sharing, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from as well. Let me know where you're from. Hey, Rudy Blackburn. Rudy Blackburn, how you doing?
Of COVID-19
Pick up yourself.
increase, we expect to see the number of cases
Oh, June, you miss me?
climb
June, you miss me?
even higher.
I miss you guys too. I miss you guys too. I miss you guys so much. All right, guys. So listen, I said I started the program earlier because I wanted to bring in, I wanted to have this conversation. It might go a little bit over the hour because there are a lot of things that we kind of need to understand. All right. So first, let me bring on the artist. Now, Temptress is an artist, a Grenadian artist. She is currently in Grenada, and as I was telling you guys earlier, she had this new track that she did entitled Doh Have. And since that track was released, it created a lot of havoc because it's a simple chant, Doh Have. Like, you ask me for something, Doh Have. It's simple enough, right? But that is what the Jab was chanting almost 2 years now. Temptress, how you doing? Welcome to the Ride. How things?
Thank you. I'm okay. God blessing.
Nice. I see
Good night to everybody.
I see you have your
Good night
flag.
to my management.
Yes, I see how you
That empire.
I see you have your flag. I see you have your t-shirt. I see you have I wanted to ask you for a shirt, but I'm afraid you might tell me you don't have. I don't know.
I have
You don't have. Well, okay. All right. So
finished. I will get you one.
you get me one.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So Temptress, let's get into it, right? Because we gonna play the track a little bit later for people to hear. It's a nice track. It's a jab tune. It's a jab chant. People been singing it for a while. I look at YouTube, over 90 something thousand views on YouTube. So people obviously like the track. All right. So before we understand or try to understand what's happening, tell us about the track. Tell us about the tune. Doh Have.
Well, I don't have to make it short. I got a phone call and somebody wanted to speak to a mister, give them the phone, a young lady, and she wanted $300 to pay she life. And the mister say, I don't have. So every morning I go to work, I working in Silver Sands. I always calling out the mason. I don't have. And he go say, I don't have. So he said, girl, you gonna make a tune with that? And I say, yeah. And I tried it. So I went and asked some of the workers how we sung. I sang it for my son, and he said, Mommy, you have credit? You have a man? So I started to scream. Then I sing it again for my next Rasta partner on the carnage in the ghetto, Shabba. He always have a slipper and a cup with the tea. I sing it for him, and he say, move, let me pass. All little playing my la la la, you know. So I just go with the flow, write it, and then I check my brethren now, Dino, with his rusty voice to come down hard and, you know, say, you know, you don't really have, so they can hear it down in the throat. So I love the way he sing it, you know. So I let you join in with me to send the rhythm for me. So that's how we get blind in it, you know. So that is my idea of the song. That what happened. So I just make the song.
Right.
And I didn't know he would have get so big because most of the DJs that asked for it in Grenada when he launched out, they didn't have it as yet, you know? Yeah.
Right. So you were you wrote the song. It was all your idea from the beginning. You wrote the song and everything.
Yeah, my idea, but Dino, when I sang the Watch It Let Me Pass, he just put in the two to make up now to the bridge, you know? So everything done there in the song already, the dollar, rum, paint, oil, everything in there, you know? So we
Right.
just come together and do it. So it's because of his voice, he having his voice,
Mhm.
and he sang that part where we just say, let we do it. Yeah, I recorded first in the Market Square in St. George's, Grenada.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So tell us now how you got involved with Impulse Production on that tune.
Okay, well, first Cata Thomas bring me there. I wanted to do a song, Cockatoo, and pay and record and cut it. I did well in it, and then I try another one, a Dube. I sing Ants, the day flow, and then I try I Doh Have with me and Dennis. So me and Dennis record it and we pay for it $575. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you went into the studio with Impulse. You heard the track. You paid for the track, and you sang it.
No. I was already with Impulse. I sing Cockatoo,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And then I record at Dube under a Dube rhythm, Ants. I
Right.
sing Ants.
Right.
Then the Dennis rhythm,
Right.
he sent that for me. Say, Temptress, I have a bad rhythm for you. He sent it for me because I just vibes the rhythm. That's how I get it. He sent it for me. So
Right.
I make a script of the song, voice note it, and send it for him because he's on a cruise ship. And he tell me go and record it. So I tell him, Dennis, me and Dennis, I pull in Dennis on the rhythm too
Mhm.
to do a like a piece with me, you know.
Mhm.
And me and Dennis, he tell me go ahead in the studio. Javon go assist me, and I did went and put it down. Me and Dennis, yeah, he sent it for me.
Right. Right. So when you got in there and were there any arrangement? Were there any documents that you usually or you sign with the art with the producer in terms of you getting on the rhythm and you voicing on that rhythm? What was the arrangement? The initial
No,
arrangement?
no documents, no documents. We just a couple of us on the rhythm. My day had to go in the Tuesday. Me and Dennis, we went and we do it. No, we didn't have no documents. When we finished the song, you know, and then Eddie came back to Grenada from the cruise ship when the world locked down. He said that we have to sign up, me and Dennis, so we can get our royalties. Also, they need we bank account, but that never happened. As times go by, the same thing over and over until next month is December. Until God bless, I end up, you know, reaching out to Scan That Empire and they say, well, all right, you know.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get there yet. We will get to Scan That
Yeah.
Empire because we have Scan That. We have a representative from Scan That Empire on the line. And we also have Fabian that we're going to talk to. But I just trying to understand preliminary. Like, were there any arrangement with Impulse or what was the arrangement with Impulse
No,
and you in terms of
no,
royalties or distribution or publishing? No arrangement at all. Hello?
yeah.
Yeah. So there was no, there
We
was,
did not sign. We
yeah.
did not sign document for the song. We just record the song. All of us on the artist, we record the song. My because Eddie's on the cruise ship, and the next one is here. So we just record the music. No documents signed or nothing. No.
Right, right. And okay, let me bring in Fabian, who is a specialist in the field of copyright, and he also represents for Temptress. Now Fabian, welcome to the ride. How are you doing, Fabian?
Oh, the pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Fabian, I really want to have you on. Again, Fabian is a music business copyright and related right specialist, right? That's what Fabian do. That's what the man eat, live, and sleep, right? Copyright stuff. That's what he does. Now, Fabian, help us understand what should happen when an artist is engaging a producer in terms of music publishing, music writing, and distribution?
All right. That is not a straight answer. The shortest answer to that, the solution lie in not one, Junior, but two areas of expertise, one being the music business and the other being what are known as intellectual property rights. The music business is what will guide a model, a structure, how things are done, how agreements are written down, and what artists or songwriters are entitled to. The music business will guide that. On the other hand, intellectual property, time would not permit me to go into the scope of intellectual property, but in the context of the music business, this is where copyright and related rights comes in. And copyright and related rights, the solution is a solution. It guides to understand who owns what. You have someone who would write the lyrics, someone who would compose a melody, the artist will have their role, the studio producer, the executive producer, and all of them are actually covered under specific areas of intellectual property rights. According to the activity, they will be protected either under copyright or related rights. And it's there we need to start. It's there we need to start to understand how this thing works. It's not an easy answer. It is very complicated, and it's often misunderstood and misconstrued. So the solution lie in music business and copyright and related rights.
Right. So here, what Temptress is saying is that they didn't have any formal arrangement. Now, I know that for a fact, being a Grenadian, being in the business of seeing how things are done, I'm very familiar that is how it's done throughout Grenada. A lot of time, a producer might have a rhythm, and artists, you send it to an artist jump on the rhythm, and that is that. There's most of the time there's no formal agreement that says this is for publishing, because Grenada, the culture doesn't really support for that music business. It doesn't have it. In fact, even the radio station don't pay royalties. So it's different than Trinidad and other places. So I'm trying to understand about the system, that the infrastructure. If there was never an arrangement that was made from the giddy up, from the beginning, from that initial arrangement, does that still give the artist or the producer, or does that give the artist any residual in the future if they were to obtain or gain any kind of funds or monies from monetization?
Yes. The long and short answer to that is the fact that Temptress was the featured artist here, and she collaborated with the other artists, Dino. They have an obligation. Now, Temptress said in her early opening statements that they actually paid Impulse a small fee to be on the rhythm. That now creates an obligation for Temptress as a featured artist to obtain what she's entitled to. So it means that she has an obligation to engage Impulse to discuss, listen, I have contributed to something that is now commercially exploited. It's been monetized. I have an opportunity to receive a percentage of that income. So although nothing was signed back then nothing prevents Temptress and Impulse to come together to work out what is each other's share.
Right. So Temptress, jump in here. Temptress, you there?
Yeah.
So when you contacted Impulse and inquire about your portion of monetization, or did you contact Impulse to inquire about your portion of monetization through publishing?
For the first one, we signed agreement, split royalties. But the remix of Doh Have for Trinidad and Tobago, this is the issue here. Remix, he did not tell me or Dennis he's selling the remix. And he was not in Grenada when I record the song. The remix was Javon, right? So we asked him in the meeting if he's selling the songs.
All right, we lost.
Sorry for that. He said no. Okay. So then I find out that he's collecting royalties for that, the remix. But we did sign, me, him, and Dennis signed for the royalty split. He signed, Javon signed, I signed, Dennis signed. But the next one, he did not tell us. And they did ask him. He said he forget. But he did not forget to collect royalties for it. Principal, Temptress, Dino, I'm selling the remix. I did not know. I bring the matter to Impulse, and he said at first that was not true. So I didn't know what else to do. People keep messaging me, they keep showing me, you know. So I did the remix. He did it behind people's back, and he said he didn't say anything about it.
All right, let me bring in the new management for Temptress. My good friend DJ Madman Panther from Standard Entertainment LLC. Am I saying it right?
It's Empire LLC.
Yeah, Empire. All right. So listen, we have a situation here. Help us explain this. So
right,
the breakdown of communication here between Impulse and Temptress.
All right. So Temptress reached out to me since June of this year, 2021, and with assistance with some stuff. So, but I was like, yo, before we do anything, I need to know if there's any agreements. You are in any contracts with anyone. So she said, no, I was signed to Impulse at one time, but she's not under any management. But for me, I have to verify things before we do certain things. So I reached out to him. I reached out to Edison, and that was since August 6th. And I asked him in a detailed text message via WhatsApp, are there any agreements between the artists, because both of them sang the song, Temptress and Dino, and are there any agreements between both artists and the producers, which is Impulse? And I was like, hey, what is the agreement you guys had or were using for performance, contract, royalties, dub plates, etc.? And he said he's on work. He's gonna get back to me. So not until October, I did a follow-up mid-October, and I got onto Javon. I got Javon number, and we start talking, and I'm like, guys, we need to know. We're about to sign Temptress, but we need to know what is her, if she signed to any distribution company to collect her royalties and stuff like that. And they was like, no, we don't have anything. But then we did our homework, and we realized that the song was being distributed. They said they had no clue of who was distributing what. Temptress and them wasn't signed. They don't have any agreements. So we move forward. We move forward.
Right. So from your understanding, I should ask, did you come to the conclusion that the Impulse production was somewhat apprehensive about releasing Temptress under their management?
No. She at the time she wasn't signed. I just was verifying what she was telling me, and I wanted to know what because if she was already registered as an artist or songwriter or stuff like that, she would have already have her number where she can collect her royalties. So it would have been just to transfer that information, but there was no agreement. There was no agreement between the artists and the producers. There was no agreement. So there was nothing in place from the time the original was distributed July 19th of 2019. There was nothing in place for her to collect any royalties.
Right. So you started to move forward. You started to move forward with it.
Yeah, we move forward. We move forward on in September, the first week in September. We officially sign Scandat Empire officially signed Temptress. All right, and I needed help. I needed help in terms of the copyright, how it works, because it's I'm fairly new in understanding how it operates and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, we need some help. And Mr. Alfonso here, which is the specialist, started to give us a breakdown of what a rights are, how to go about doing things. And we had numerous conversation, man, for almost 2 months plus, going back and forth, explaining to them like, hey, this is how things should be done. And they were telling us, okay, well, this is how things are being done. And we asked them, the question came up, what is the ISRC code for the song? And they was like, hey, we don't know, we don't even know what is that. So we give them a few days, and we end up doing our own homework because the song was out there on Spotify and stuff like that. We did our own homework, and while we was looking for that code to see who was distributing that song, we found out that there was a remix. There was a remix that from since August when we started talking, there was no mention of the remix. And that remix came out in January 31st of 2020. So now we started asking them, okay, well, first you said you didn't know who was distributing the song. Then we confirmed who it was. We sent that information over to them, and we said, hey, Fox Fuse is distributing the song, and it's linked to Impulse Production. And then they apologized. They was like, oh, guys, it's our bad. We forgot all about the remix. And I'm like, okay, you forget a whole production that you did. But the question is, how come you're not forgetting when you're collecting those quarterly statements, the royalties? Because they get the royalties every 3 months, every quarter. So I'm asking you, you're forgetting that you had something out there that was making money, but every time that money hits your bank account, you're not asking yourself where that money is coming from. So we challenge them, and we ask them, listen, hey, can we but before we even get to that, because they told us that they didn't know who was distributing what was what, we went off of that information, and we created an agreement, a songwriter agreement, because there was nothing. They said there was nothing. So we created a split. I think the split. Should I say it's okay to say the percentage, Mr. Fabian, or just we can say split?
So.
Yeah, I think the split was 75-25. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there are two producers, the two co-owners of Impulse, which is Javon and Edison. So I think that split was 37.5, and Temptress and Dino would have gotten 12.5, and that would have been from the master recording moving forward. But when we found out that the music was being distributed, then we asked the question. We say, hey guys, there's a clause in the agreement, which is number 11, that if things like this happen, we will come back to the table and renegotiate. And they agreed, up to this day, they agreed that we should move forward. We should move forward from the day we signed that agreement, but they are not agreeing to pay both artists retroactively from since July 19th of 2019, and for the remix, January 31st, 2020. And that right there is unacceptable. Because if you are willing to pay the artist from now moving forward, and you are agreeing to the standards of the rules and regulation, I think it should be applied retroactively, and that's why we are here.
All right, Fabian, jump in here. Tell me where where the lines kind of get blurred between this conversation here.
All right. As I say, the main dispute is basically unpaid royalties. Unpaid royalties, the main dispute here. In other words, we have two tracks: the original Doh Have and the remix Doh Have that is currently being distributed and monetized via Fox Fuse. And it means to say that since 2019 to the current date, whatever royalties were collected for those two tracks, Temptress has not received $1. And
Correct.
as I echo the sentiments of Alwyn, that is unacceptable, right? There were discussions. I was part of those discussions, and the thing about it is the statements that they were providing were very complicated and it was not a summary. And Alwyn will let you know that it was not appropriate for us to understand what was going on here to decide, well, then how do we calculate? How do we calculate these statements to understand what each party is entitled to? So the blurred line, again, is that there were no initial agreements in place, although that there's an agreement for what each party's share is going forward. We are still in that situation from 2019 to current as to what is Temptress' share as a featured artist. And it's unacceptable to move forward until that is sorted out.
Correct. Right. Let me also say that we made contact with Impulse. They sent me they sent me agreements. They sent me correspondence that they had with both yourself, Panther, in reference to communication relating to retroactive payment. But here's what I don't understand, right? Hold on, Temptress have a real bad dog barking.
No, not me.
Oh, somebody dog barking. I don't know.
That dog is quite in Trinidad.
That dog
We just mute him till he leaves.
so here's what I'm trying to find out. They're saying in their correspondence with you that they had no problem with retroactive payments, right?
No. They don't have a problem with the new agreement that we created, but the agreement that we created, they gave us the impression that they didn't know where the song was distributed, etc. Right? So we was like, okay, guys, since that there's so much things out there that is unknown, we have decided that we're gonna start with this contract here moving forward, because we thought, well, although we were under the impression that they weren't collecting any royalties, and we were all starting this whole infrastructure here now, this system, the module now. That was the impression we had. Like it was a fresh start for the producers because they didn't collect $1, and it was a fresh start for the artists. But then we did our homework, and then we found out that Fox Fuse was distributing the music from since July 19th, and this is public information. Anyone could go and look it up. It's there for everyone to see. And for you to for you to distribute a song, you have to be as a producer, you would have to present some form of documents, and they've been collecting the money. And right now, it's not about how much; it's the principle. It's the principle, and the fact that
did you ask them to give you a printout of how much money is we talking?
Yeah, well, at one time they gave us. Well, we are in November now, so they sent the third quarter statement, and we saw some numbers, and then we asked them like, okay, so can we see the rest of statements from since July 19th of 2019 for the original, and can we see the statements for the remix, which they said they forgot all about it, and they sent us a spreadsheet where it's down to the cents, where we had to physically go and calculate cents from the time the song was up. That's gonna take us what 6 months, a year to calculate. When you could actually show us, which you provided, you could actually give us the statements, and then when we get the statements, then we would have applied the new percentage agreement. So then we will know how much is that retroactively, and that is what they're not presenting, because we can't move forward. We cannot move forward, man. They have to do the right thing, man. If you can collect money now moving forward, you can pay the artists, man. You can pay the artists. Both of them actually.
So are we saying today that Impulse Production haven't paid any money?
Zero. None. And not only for those two songs. For my understanding, there's No royalties have ever been paid, period. And she has multiple songs with Impulse.
Right.
No money, zero. It's like literally, she don't have, they don't have. Like there's nothing. There's no money.
Right. Guys, we understand and putting this into perspective. Again, we spoke to a representative from Impulse, and
Right.
as far as what they're saying, communication was fine. Communication was going fine between both of you guys. In fact, I have some text messages back and forth here until it abruptly ended when you send them the letter stating that you no longer want to continue conversation, you are going to take legal action. So why the breakdown? What stopped the communication when trying to figure out this thing? After they said, well, I told what they told me, they're fine with applying the model that exists globally and paying retroactive payment.
No, that's incorrect. That is incorrect. And we spoke directly with Javon. We had our like the most conversations that we had trying to negotiate was with Javon. As I told you, when I sent that message for Edison on August 6th, he told me he was on work, and I didn't hear from him till mid-October. And Javon, and I could say it with no hesitation, that he told us that there's no problem applying the new model or agreeing to the new terms and conditions, but they are not going to pay retroactively, and that is where we lock horns.
Mm-hmm.
That is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
If the retroactive payment could be agreed on, right? If you guys could work through retroactive payment, would that move forward? Would that turn the page in this controversy here?
Partially. That's the first thing. That is the first thing that we are pushing for. Scandal Empire, Mr. Fabian. The first thing is for the artists to get paid. Point blank. Artists, they deserve their fair cut. That's it. Then the second thing that we want to work is put the proper structure in place that every artist, every songwriter, every composer, every producer, every distributor in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique understand their rights. And before they do anything, before they even start penning anything, they know what is the meaning of copyright and what are their rights and what are their responsibilities and obligations. We want to make this also an awareness for everyone, because from my understanding, Temptress and Dino is not the only two artists that is going through that. And if they don't have the knowledge, you're just going to keep cycling. And that is what we were told by Javon. This is how we do things in Grenada. And I told them, not because that's how you do things in Grenada, that doesn't validate or say that is the right thing.
Right. Yeah. Alfonso, I want to come back to you because the conversation about this is how we do things in Grenada, but that is actually true,
Right.
That is actually true because the culture, the business of music, as it relates to copyright and royalties, is like it doesn't exist in this ecosystem. So is it that we have to blame Impulse for not negotiating, or the system that exists right now?
Well, we explain. You see, Junior, we're not blaming Impulse for not having the system. I mean, that is a collective thing. That Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. This is something even the government, entertainment on a whole has to look into and put in there, because we will be faced with this over and over. Only the producers will be collecting monies, and there's a system that is there that is standard, that artists collect a percentage and the producers collect a percentage. We have to implement that, because what's the point of artists continue to create something and they cannot benefit from the talent and the creativity and the work they put in, and on top of that they are taking hard-earned dollars out of their pocket to sing on a rhythm, and they are not getting anything in return. So this is the perfect opportunity where Temptress and Dino would learn their lessons. Other artists that is going through the same thing, and then this gives us the opportunity to put the right thing in place, that it stops and we all do the right thing.
Yeah, caller, are you calling for the program? Nah, okay. All right, guys, let me open up the phone lines right now because there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to
Yeah.
understand. I want you guys to get into this conversation. 717-015-720. We're talking about this issue that exists. Let me see if we get this caller on. Caller, hello? Hello? Yeah, hello, caller. Hello? All right, could you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, okay. So I just had a little loss in internet service right there. We
Okay.
asking that you guys could call directly at the number 718-701-5720. If you want to call on WhatsApp, you could call us there as well. The same number 718-701-5720. So Panther,
Yes.
if we were to get impulse on a private conversation, you don't have to be live on air, and we could negotiate a retroactive payment and make sure that that is clear and the artist is getting the money for the retroactive payments. um, will that still push the legal aspect of this conversation forward, or would this turn the page of this?
It would turn the page for the aspect of the payments. And as I said, the bigger picture here is to put the right system in place for every artist presently and to come. There's two parts. The first problem is them having to agree, which they disagree. That's why we are here to pay retroactively. That's the first thing. And the second thing, we wanna even work with them because they are one of the top producers on the island, to help campaign for the right thing.
Yeah, yeah. Lacey J, we do need callers. We need people to chime in right here. How do we start? Alfonso, how do we start to build up infrastructure and get artists educated as to what their not only responsibility but what they could make from this? A lot of artists don't really make anything or get anything from royalties or monetization. Where do we start?
Junior, you said a very profound word, and I am seeing the audience saying the same word, and I want to echo those same sentiments. We must start with education and awareness. It's not an overnight fix, but
Correct.
we have to start. I'm glad I'm on this program. It has to start from a series of workshops for songwriters, for all the participants within the industry to understand the music business structure, to understand intellectual property, to understand copyright, to understand related rights. It's not an overnight fix, but until individuals are educated and aware as to how this industry is structured, that is the first step into growth. And we have to start from the ground up. Because when we look at the structure of a music industry, there are many players. We have one category we call the creatives, the songwriters, the artists, the musicians. And then we have the professionals. Do professionals in Grenada exist? I'm talking about artist managers, music publishers, music publicists. Do they exist in Grenada? So you need a bunch of professionals that needs to be available as part of an industry. What about the businesses? Recording studios, recording labels, music publishing companies. It's a structure. And then we need a role of the government to facilitate a music business, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Legal Affairs. Because now we are speaking about why artists or songwriters have to register with an international or regional copyright collection agency when we can form, or they can form, their own copyright collection agency in Grenada, such as Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a holistic building from the ground up that needs to happen, but it cannot happen overnight. But education and awareness must happen first. There's a lot of misunderstanding, misrepresentation when it comes to people expressing their knowledge about the music industry. It's very vast, it's very wide, it's very wide in scope. And it starts with proper knowledge and proper foundations. But there's a lot of work to be done. And I'm glad this is not a bluff. I echo the sentiments of Temptress, who said it very clear that she wants to ensure that artists in Grenada understand what their rights are, so that when engaging rhythm producers, going with a piece of paper, the hype is good, but going with a piece of paper and dot your I's and cross your T's, else you would end up in the same situation where one person is making the dollars and you are not making any. That cannot be a business structure. So we start from there. We start from the ground up.
Yeah, and you said it right, where artists understand ways of monetization. I often see a lot of artists take their music and they send it out to, one of those big YouTube following pages, and then those pages get monetized and they get paid off of that music. And do the artists actually benefit from it? So artists need to understand it. But I want to play back a quick audio that was sent to me from Impulse in response to the conversation here. This is one of Impulse response. Check this out.
This is a screenshot saying, okay, good morning.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, guys, so we're having a little bit of an internet challenge here. We had a little bit of an internet challenge here in my location. It kind of tripping off back and forth right here. But we still have Panther, Alfonso, and Temptress on the call here. We're talking about the situation that exists where the artist feel like she was taken for a ride, where monies, royalties that was supposed to be paid for her big hit tune was not paid retroactively, and it seemed like there is a miscommunication in terms of the monies that was owed previously. But what I gather from speaking to Impulse earlier today was that they have no problem with re-engaging a conversation with Scandat Empire in terms of the retroactive payment. Scandat has set up a GoFundMe page. Scandat, explain the GoFundMe page setup. Where you're looking to go with the GoFundMe?
Well, with Temptress being signed to Scandat Empire, the funds that we have that we invested.
Hold on, I'm not hearing you. I don't know if you guys hearing it. Everybody hearing him?
Yeah, you muted my mic. You hear me?
I'm hearing him.
Okay, go ahead. I get probably just me that's not hearing anything.
Right.
So go ahead.
So I was saying, when Scandat Empire, when we signed Temptress, we have monies, to invest in her artist development. So we are in contract with different songwriters, producers, stuff like that. So that way we can help build her. You know what I mean? So when the situation came, you know, we weren't in a position to pay legal expenses because that's gonna take away from what we have planned for Temptress. Okay, so we had to create a GoFundMe for her on the behalf of her because the first challenge was she tried to do it on her own, but for some reason, um, it requires some U.S. information that Temptress doesn't have because she lives in Grenada. And the second major challenge would have been that Uncle Sam, as I was saying, they would have had to take their taxes out of it, and it would not allow her to create that. So we had to do it. We got authorization from her to create the GoFundMe on the behalf of her to pay her legal expenses. Because if we were to take these monies to go to the High Court to fight for royalties or stuff that was problems that was there before we got on the scene, we wouldn't get our job done as Scan Empire for Temptress. So the GoFundMe is there. Guys, support Temptress.
All right. Panta, for some reason I'm not hearing you. I know they're hearing you, but I didn't hear a word you just said. I just lost audio at the same time that I lost video there. So let me just take a quick break and try to fix the audio problem. Hey, you're watching Ride Along Live, guys. We'll be right back. Don't move.
Okay, no problem.
Get your PCR test in 30 minutes or less. Visit www.allprolab.com.
Grenada's newest political sensation, Dickon Mitchell, will be officially introduced to the diaspora virtually on December the 5th. Don't miss this special event to hear Dickon Mitchell's plans for involving all Grenadians overseas in the development of our country. Your ideas and suggestions for a better Grenada will also be welcomed in a question and answer session. It's Sunday, December the 5th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Grenada time. It'll be streaming live on NDC Facebook page, Zoom, and other social media platforms. You'll also get a chance to donate to help Dickon Mitchell do the groundwork towards building a better Grenada. This event is organized by the New York chapter of the National Democratic Congress and Grenadians for Dickon Mitchell in the Diaspora. Don't you dare miss it.
All right, guys, we are back. I think I'm hearing better now. You guys hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Nah, I don't know why I'm not hearing anyone at all. My headphone just went dead. I was hearing the ad and everything earlier. So let's go in with this. I'm going to listen on my phone. Fabian, if you could just go in and tell us where do we go from here and give us a broad understanding for artists that might be faced with similar situation, that might be going through something similar. What could they do from here? I'll try to listen to you respond on the phone.
Right. Sorry about that. Yes. Are you hearing me?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to use an example of where we go from here. Again, where we go from here is for all parties to understand the structure and how this thing works. I'm using the example of the Dennis Rhythm. A rhythm was first created by Impulse Productions, and they were the musical, they composed the music and built the beat. So they would have had rights. The moment they brought in Temptress and Dino as artists to construct lyrics and write a melody, and they were inspired by the melody and the composition of the rhythm, and that was fused together. Now we are talking about a product where all individuals would have contributed to that product, and then it has to be decided who owns what. So in going forward in a music industry, once you have various contributors, and various individuals contributing to the same product, there's no way we could go forward and monetize that unless an agreement is in place to decide who owns what, who gets what. And that is the way forward.
All right, I can't say that I heard what you said, because as I said, my whole headphone went dead, so I really didn't hear anything. But listen, guys, we're going to follow up on this conversation, right? We're going to follow up on this conversation and see where it leads. Now, ultimately, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to try to be in the middle to see how we could debate on this. I know the idea is to take this thing to court, but I believe, as you know, the young producers, everyone need to learn the lesson, by the way. But I think that was something that was overlooked, and somehow it could be negotiated off air. So I'm going to try to mediate between Impulse and Temptress and the management to see how they could go forward with this here, because Impulse is indicating to me that they have no problem with retroactive payments. So let's mediate on that off air and see if we could come to a resolution going forward. But listen, scan that Empire. Thank you so much. Mr. Fabian Alfonso, thank you so much. I'll scan that. Tell you to leave, say a last word. I wouldn't hear it though, but the last word before we wrap up.
All artists of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, please, before you do any work, make sure there is an agreement and you understand your rights. Okay? You deserve your payments, your work, or what you contributed to. All right? Look into it, YouTube it, ask questions, and that's what we're here. And we just want to say, Junior, the goal here is not really we're just taking Impulse to court. I think we tried to negotiate for months, and I think they thought we were bluffing. And this is a business, and it's very serious. And I believe that Scannet Empire, we believe in doing the right thing, and Temptress deserves a fair share. So if they are willing to pay retroactively, I am for that. And moving forward, they want to pay them, I am also for that.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And last words from you, Mr. Fabian Alfonso.
My last words, I echo the sentiments of Alwyn. Artists, creatives in Grenada, let us start building your industry from the ground up. Let's educate ourselves. Let's be aware of this is a music business. This is not a charity. Your work can be monetized. You can receive royalties. You can benefit from your contributions. Let us maximize your potential by coming together. Impulse, we want to work with you. Let us all come together and maximize our full potential of what could be a thriving industry in Grenada.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hopefully we could find a common ground here, and I'll try to mediate and see how we could best help out both sides, so make sure everyone get a better end. But this is an education for artists, young artists in the business. Remember, this is music business. Some people get all caught up with the music aspect of it and forget that it's a business. But it's business, and there's a lot of money. If you're not making money from your music, somebody making money from your music. Just take a look on Facebook and see how much times your music is being viewed, right? See how much time your music is being viewed. And every time you see your music played, then you see an ad pop up. Somebody is making money from your music. And that's just one aspect of monetization, you know. And if it's not you, somebody else is making money on you, right? So it's good to have a full control as to those type of arrangement. There are many, many ways to get monetized, not only via shows, not only via performances, but understand that it's a business, and you could make there's money to be made on YouTube, Spotify. People are making money straight through. Connect with someone. Let me tell you, connect with someone like Alfonso. And if you are proper management, they should also teach you about publishing and how you can make money through publishing. But Alfonso, great information. Thank you, my brother, and we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know why my earphone failed me today. I'm hearing absolutely nothing. So the last piece that the guy was talking about, I was actually listening to it on the live like you guys. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. I got to thank and big up our sponsor. We have All Pro Health Lab, and they're responsible for providing PCR test in 30 minutes or less. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys tomorrow. You're watching Ride Along Live. Peace out. Good night.
Get your PCR test in 30 minutes or less. Visit www.allprolab.com.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Quick and easy, grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Oh yeah.
Grenada's newest political sensation, Dickon Mitchell, will be officially introduced to the diaspora virtually on December the 5th. Don't miss this special event to hear Dickon Mitchell's plans for involving all Grenadians overseas in the development of our country. Your ideas and suggestions for a better Grenada will also be welcomed in a question and answer session. It's Sunday, December the 5th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Grenada time. It'll be streaming live on NDC Facebook page, Zoom, and other social media platforms. You'll also get a chance to donate to help Dickon Mitchell do the groundwork towards building a better Grenada. This event is organized by the New York chapter of the National Democratic Congress and Grenadians for Dickon Mitchell in the Diaspora. Don't you dare miss it!